So hi, welcome to the Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Logan.
And Callum from Into the Red.
and we're gonna ask them some questions today about their new EP, Wavelength. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far, as well as the single you guys put out after the fact?
The response has been pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
We actually had we've been having it reviewed. We had one this week, didn't we? We had a new review come in.
Oh,
Yeah, Patch Pockets.
That was it. Which on their blog they covered the EP there, and the response has been really, really good. Particularly to the lead single track. People have been talking about that quite a bit and been streaming it a
Yeah,
lot.
Take Me to the Water and the Moon has been like the most streamed song we've ever had. It's been incredible.
that's
Nice.
amazing.
which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. I think that was the first time we broke 1,000 streams was with that
Yeah.
song.
Generally.
Yeah.
Well,
To
I'm
the
glad.
moon.
That's awesome.
I'm glad you guys are getting like that post-release suite coverage, like
Mhm.
way past
Yeah.
the because it's like it seems like you get your weekend of
Literally.
a possible window to get coverage, and then that's it. So I'm glad you guys are getting
That's
it
it,
way
yeah.
past that.
No, it's been kind of steady. It's been really nice. And for the month after the release, we were on radio. We were in like some local publications as well. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Where Callum went on the radio to refer to Reddit as an internet website, which I thought was pretty funny.
Not a
hellscape. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it is a hellscape.
Boy. So, is there any meaning behind the EP name or cover art?
There is two. It's a double meaning. So
Okay.
first off, we weren't going to do the EP at all. We were
What?
going to do an album.
Yeah.
Oh,
But COVID happened.
Mm.
So it didn't feel like the right step. So we
were like fully fully planning on going to the studio. We had like all the songs written.
Yeah.
We
still do as well. They've not.
yeah,
been
we still
unwritten
do. Obviously, they
since
still
then,
exist,
you
but
know,
we were
but,
railroaded into writing the album, and then obviously isolation hit, and we couldn't do anything. So we basically wrote, recorded, and released an entire EP within what was it, like 4 months?
Wow.
that's impressive.
Yeah, I think the bulk
Yeah.
of the songwriting was done in the first fortnight, but particularly because we'd done an EP already called Frequency, which came out in 2016. We decided since we were doing another EP, it should basically be a follow-up to that. So the next thing in the equation after Frequency is Wavelength, and then obviously we've got Velocity left over. But we haven't got that far yet.
Will there be a
but-
Velocity EP?
Mm,
Okay,
Let's
I'll
see,
take that.
shall
I'll take
we?
that as a yes. Awesome.
And then the alternative meaning as well is some local history. If you want to go into that, Colin.
yeah. So basically, growing up in Sheffield, there was an old guitar shop called Wavelength that both me, Logan, and quite a few other people in loads of other local bands and in our band, so in Josh and Ash, we all started there. It's where we got our first guitars. It's where we got our first pedals and all that kind of stuff. And it shut down in 2019 or 2018.
No.
Yeah,
Guy-
they just it not through bad reasons. They just retired.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
retired. Yeah.
So we thought, as a kind of homage to that, we'd name the EP Wavelength. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like a little nod to local Sheffield history.
I think we brainstormed like 200 names
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
before settling. I had like a word.
We had a big
document with
list,
loads
yeah.
and loads of names, and some of them were like, I had Callum reading some of them and sending me a message like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
And
And with the EP artwork, I had a couple of ideas of like doing the like kind of Midwest emo thing where you take a picture of a dilapidated building and that
no.
being Wavelength.
Yep.
But yeah, that was one of the ideas, but probably so it's a bit cliche.
Well, we got Kate, the artist who drew the cover for our debut EP. She's been making waves doing her own visual art, so we just got her to come back and do
She did the
cover
first
for
one though,
Wavelength.
didn't she? She did Frequency.
Yeah, she did Frequency.
Yeah.
And so we got her to come back and do the one for Wavelength. She tried to do it for free, but we weren't
Yeah, we-
so I think so we did
Throw
pay her,
money.
but
Mhm.
she wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
But we always want a character on the front of
Mm.
our work, really, don't we?
Yeah.
It's sort of a different interpretation of our sort of mascot character, Quinn. as a sea nymph rather than as a cosmonaut.
An astronaut.
Yeah. So because the songs are generally like, there's a lot of references to things like water and the ocean and the experience of being near it. We thought the sea nymph character that she designed was appropriate specifically for the one for Take Me to the Water on the Moon, and then we got to do a different interpretation of the same character for the cover of the Whole EP.
Sick.
So can you tell us a little about your writing process for the CP?
Yeah,
I'll let Logan do that. So, it's all in.
What's interesting about this one is lockdown didn't really affect the process that I normally have all that much. So the bulk of the writing I do by myself before I bring the ideas to the band. So it can sometimes be like a riff or, quite a simple demo or something like that I'll send people and sort of be like, what do you think of this? And sometimes it'll be like a complete song. But this EP was different because we basically agreed we were going to do the EP before any of the songs had been written. I think we'd written Waves.
You'd written Waves because you'd written Waves, and you're like, I've written this song, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, a bit with Midwesty, all that kind of good stuff.
And then basically immediately afterwards, we went into a second lockdown in the UK, and it was like, okay, we can't do the album, so I feel pretty sad, so I'm going to write some sad songs, and we're going to turn it into an EP kind of thing. I think the only part of that wasn't recorded was the vocals, and not even all the vocals, just a lot of the leads were done in the recording studio with our producer Will, but the rest of it was done remotely.
And that was very like at the very end of the process. That was because we were in second lockdown for so long.
I did it in 2 days, I think.
Yeah, so we were in lockdown for so long. We basically got everything else tracked. We just had the vocals to do, and we had to wait to come out of lockdown in order to do them.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty funny. So it's like,
and it was pretty quick turnaround after that.
Will and I weren't ever in the same room, because I couldn't have a mask on. Obviously, if I was recording, so he was in a different room. And we were talking over the intercom, but the music generally comes first, and it normally starts with the guitar for me, and the lyrics kind of come afterwards. The lyrics specifically here were just inspired by the loneliness I think we were all feeling, and the heartbreak that I personally had experienced earlier in that year, just sort of snowballed into these songs. And I like to think of them as being about sort of the process beginning of you starting to get better. Is kind of the message there. So I was starting to feel a little bit more creative. I was starting to feel a little bit better after honestly 2020 was dreadful, wasn't it? So and we were in the tail end of 2020 when we recorded it. So it was like, this year's coming to an end. I've got a slightly more positive outlook going forward. Silly me. And I think it came together really quickly. I think we demoed something like 10 or 11 songs before we narrowed it down to 4. But Waves was always going to be on it, and Take Me to the Water on the Moon, I think, was the very last one I wrote for it. And that was never in contention to not be on it. Like, as soon as we had it written, it was like, oh, this is going to be the single. Like, this is going to be the big song. And it was Callum's idea to release it as a single, and it did make
as soon as I heard it, I was like, that's the one. That's the one.
So we didn't. I think the EP had been out for like 6 weeks before we got together to even play the songs together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
we never even played them together.
Yeah. So it's really weird because those performances were recorded entirely remotely, but it's still sort of. I think it's reflected in the performances, not like in a bad way, but it's like it's the most deeply personal stuff we've ever come up with.
Yeah, it was because
it wasn't as much of a. We weren't as much of a unit. We were these scattered.
No, it was
fragments.
A really intense process because we're so used to being together, all the time every week, for 3 hours of band practice and that kind of stuff, and riffing off each other and adding suggestions or whatever. But because of the kind of a separation between us. It was really weird emotionally to like be playing music to basically a backing track and try and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Solid. All right. So I want you two to tell us your favorite lyric off this EP and the meaning behind it.
Do you want to go first?
You go first.
You want me to go first
No,
again?
you
Okay.
first. No, you
My
hang up.
favorite lyric. Okay, so in Take Me to the Water on the Moon, there's a line, we are sinners in glass houses with a hatred that is shrouded by a lack of people at whom to throw stones, which is a very, very long-winded and admittedly slightly pretentious way of saying that we have to take responsibility for our own biases and our own feelings during the process of recovery like this. And the phrase, those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. The temptation still exists, even though you know that to be true. And dealing with the frustrations that you experience when life goes by you as an observer rather than as a participant is something I feel like I was experiencing quite a lot, because it was like, I want to make a difference, I want to do something, but we're all locked in our houses because there's, you know, a killer cough going around, and that's really annoying. And then coupled with all of the angst I was feeling over, you know, this breakup that had a profound effect on me. I think that basically summarizes what that song's about in quite a succinct way, and I'm pretty proud of it. That generally, I think the lyrics on Take Me are the best lyrics on the EP.
I was also going to suggest to Take Me to the Water on the Moon lyric.
Go, which one were you
I like
say,
I like We Go Picking Stars Like Berries, because it kind of reminds me of a not a Kirsty MacColl song, but the Kirsty MacColl cover of Billy Bragg's
I'm Not Looking for
New
New
England. Yeah. It was one of my favorite lyrics of all time is it wrong to wish on space hardware?
Yeah, nice. I actually didn't even make that connection at all. So yeah, when I wrote it. But yeah, I could pick any of the songs from Take Me as a favorite, honestly.
Yeah. I also just love the chorus to Take Me to the Water on the Moon, because when we do it live, we kind of do it in a kind of like a gang vocally emo-y way, and it's just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun to play it
It's
live.
a lot of fun to sing.
Yeah, we've played it at every show since it came out, which is admittedly not that many shows, but still.
I love it. So where was your headspace at while you're writing this EP?
I obviously can't speak for anybody else. I feel like we're getting into a system where I go first and Callum adds to what I'm saying. So unless should we stick to that for now? We'll just, yeah. All right, cool. So personally, for me, it was pretty dire. 2020 was bad for all of us. I mean, in the UK, like before we locked down, we had a tiered system. So different parts of the country had different levels of restrictions. And there was essentially a lot of politics about which cities locked down the hardest. Yeah. So there were more cases in London per 100 than like anywhere else in the UK, but their restrictions were still really limited because there's a lot of wealthy people in London. There's a lot of money being made, and that was
like going to the theatre. God damn it!
Yeah, precisely. Whereas in Sheffield, we had like 15 cases per 100 people at the time, and we were only one down from the maximum restriction level at the time. So there was this general feeling of unfairness. Like we should, we're actually doing better than places that have fewer restrictions than we do. And I've not got anything against having those restrictions in place because it's saving lives and taking the strain off our healthcare workers and everything. So I'm cool with it. It just felt a little bit like it still felt very constricting, especially given that we had to watch other places have more freedom.
Go to gigs and have fun.
Yeah. There's that post from Wargasm about them playing in a pub, and that was was a whole thing. But so that was already frustrating. And then my then partner had been away for a really long time because we weren't allowed to travel between places really unless we had good reason to, and unfortunately seeing loved ones was off the cards at the time. And the only time they came to see me was when they were finally allowed, and it was like, right, great, let's come back, we'll lock down together, we'll finish watching Mr. Robot, which we'd been watching at the time, which was wicked. and basically it was just clear that it was over, and neither of us had realized. So that was pretty horrendous.
Mhm.
So that cast a shadow over the entirety of the rest of that year for me. I think you can remember how miserable I was, Callum. And it wasn't.
So we have a series of vlogs that we took while we were. Yeah, we have a series of vlogs that so while we were recording the EP, we took these series of vlogs, and you could just see everyone just get progressively more depressed
as we get closer to Christmas
as we get down.
Well.
And it's the thing about the UK is that like now it gets dark at about 4 p.m. on a good day.
I think I made a point of it in one of the vlogs.
Yeah, you did. It gets dark.
It's tea time.
Yeah. It gets dark and cold, and we couldn't leave the house. We couldn't see people.
So it was a pretty miserable environment to be writing songs in. But it wasn't until the worst of it was the loneliness that I could start writing, because I couldn't really write about the heartbreak while it was so fresh.
Yeah.
So
but that's essentially what the whole EP is about. As you said, is about kind of healing from that.
So I think I was actually at the begin. I was at the point in the process that I was describing when those lyrics were being written. Like I was starting to feel like, there's something ahead of this. There's things to be learned, and there's still, there's time to kind of heal, and that's important. And when I started to feel that, the inspiration and the creativity came back.
Mm-hmm. Solid, right?
Yeah.
So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your heads. I want you to describe this EP for new listeners in 3 words. 3 each.
3 each.
Mm-hmm.
3 words each.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to say it bangs hard.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
This album goes hard. This EP goes really hard. After that first song, which is a bit of a slow burn.
You've said your 3 words, Logan.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm not allowed to justify those 3 words, am I, Callum? God. All right. Go on then, Cal.
I would say it's expansive, fun, and I only thought of 2 words while you were talking.
Oh my god!
Expansive.
Come on,
fun,
you gotta get one more.
And a jam. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was really
Space.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Space. That's a lot better.
Space. There you go.
All right.
Perfect.
Space.
Perfect.
Nice.
So in that same train of thought, but not as quick, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while going through the EP?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
That is a really good question. I mean, the answer is obviously yes, but I haven't thought in a huge amount of detail what those feelings might be, because I'm writing about my own feelings and stuff, and I don't really want anybody to feel those things because they weren't very nice. The stuff I'm writing about, like I said, I'd started to feel better by the time it came. I'm useless when I'm super miserable, but when I was starting to feel better, that's when I was feeling the most creative. So, that's, I suppose, not what I want people to be feeling is uncreative and sad. But what I do maybe want people to feel or to think about if they will listen to it is if they have ever felt that way, that maybe they are understood by somebody. Maybe I want them to feel seen. Maybe I want them to feel understood, because I think one of the things that you can definitely get into when you're having a hard time is you can feel like you have to deal with it by yourself. And I know that there's lots and lots of music out there that makes people feel understood. The best music, I guess, is the reason we like it so much is because it feels like it's made just for us. And I'd like people to listen to that EP and feel that way about it.
Yeah. I would concur. I'd say catharsis is a good word, and a journey. I think the whole EP is kind of a journey. Me and Logan were talking about this the other day. Is that in that the way that the songs are structured and the way that they follow on from each other kind of follows that journey through healing, through kind of acceptance, and then through realizing that, you know, things are going to get better, and then kind of dealing with that and going forwards.
Yeah,
Mhm.
taking responsibility is a huge theme, I think.
Yeah.
Solid. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour. You're at a gas station for a rest stop. You're going in. What is your snack of choice? Isn't it like petrol over there? A petrol station?
Yeah.
There you go. I should have. God, I missed that.
Yeah, it's all right. This interview is over. Like, if we can't even get that right, like,
Sorry.
My bad.
Although to be fair, there isn't much petrol at the moment.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we are actually in the middle of a. You know, we need. You know that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they solve the gas crisis.
Yeah. And they do they blow the fire, and then Mac's head gets burnt. It's a whole, that's a good episode.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now.
Yeah.
That's
in the
good.
UK.
Yeah.
Salt and vinegar crisps, probably.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Green
I think
space.
that's where I would go
We'll
with
be
that
getting
one.
a Walker's grab bag.
Yeah, Walker's grab bag.
Gotta
Yeah.
get the Walker's grab bag.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like
just
a bigger
big bag
bag.
of crisps.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
Oh.
it's not like family size. It's not
Mhm.
like sharing size, but it's not like the small one. It's kind of
Mhm.
like slightly bigger. Although I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it's got the same amount of crisps as the small one. They just charge more money for it.
The bigger bag, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
They only-
almost 100% sure that's the
They
crap.
only seem to sell them at petrol stations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, that seems to be it. But yeah, we'd probably stock up on those. If they I mean, I'm going to speak a little bit for him because we've got a bit of a running joke in the band because Josh is a really big fan of shawarma. So
Loves the
like,
shawarma.
there's a
But
shawarma.
I've never seen a shawarma stand in a petrol station.
No,
That would
no,
be sick,
but
though.
yeah, no, but if there was like, that he'd see the, sometimes you can get those chicken wraps or
Mhm.
whatever
Oh,
that
yeah.
are like in the foil with a sticker on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're always a little bit stale. when you
Yeah.
actually eat it.
No,
I feel
man.
like he would see that and hope it was like the shawarma. So I feel like that's maybe a conversation that would be had.
Probably.
The disappointing thing about crisps is you always eat them and then you're still hungry. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I wouldn't. But that's probably still what I go for. I thought, I'm not actually that hungry. I'll just have one, and then you eat it. I'm even hungrier now than before I'd
Exactly,
eaten crisps.
Not if you eat like a bag and a half. It's like
Or a grab bag.
Yeah.
Which is about the
grab
size of a bag and a half.
I personally I like getting gang sweets. So I like
The
getting the
fuck
grab
is
bags
that?
of sweets. So
Yeah,
like
I'm
sweets for the gang. You know?
Okay.
Everyone.
so is that like
everyone
an
in the car.
assorted bag?
No,
of
it's not what
sweets?
it's called. I'll just go into the station and I'll
Mhm.
and I maybe get some jelly babies, maybe some
I proper fancy some jelly babies right now.
yeah, I fancy some jelly babies,
Yeah.
jelly beans as well.
Jelly beans.
Oh.
This interviews went off
Jelly
the rails.
beans,
I don't
jelly
know what's
babies.
going on
What are
anymore.
jelly babies?
Jelly
You never-
babies.
Yeah.
They're kind of like jelly beans, except they don't have that crusty exterior. They've
Mhm.
got powdered sugar on them, and they look like babies.
Oh,
They're
Yeah,
delicious.
they're in the shape of babies. You got to bite
Yeah.
their heads off first. It's,
So so we eat babies in
whole
the
thing.
UK.
yeah,
Just of just the jellied
normalised.
variety.
wow.
They're quite Doctor Who.
Yes.
Quite old Doctor Who used to eat jelly babies all the time, and there's actually the first time he meets
yeah.
one of his
Isn't it kind of like a
companions-
decompression thing after the TARDIS? After
Yeah,
they
yeah,
get
he
out?
always has a
Yeah.
jelly baby, and he's always like, "Would you
Yeah.
like a jelly baby?" Like to everyone he always talks to. And the first time he meets Leela, one of his companions, she's like a Stone Age woman, and he gets out of the TARDIS and sees Leela, and she's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm the Doctor. Would you like a jelly baby?" And then she sees him, and he's got the same face as this mountain, and they call it the face of evil. And she's like, "So it's true, the evil one does eat babies." And he's like, "No, these are sweet stuff." Like,
yeah.
it's so dumb.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm looking them
Ridiculous.
up. I can't believe that these actually exist. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I
They're
feel like
really-
I should look at them.
On this next
They're really
question, you guys have the opportunity to just completely blow our minds and have us go what the fuck. If the
That's not
band
what's gonna happen.
was a dish, what dish would it be?
What in the world?
What dish would it be?
Yeah, what dish would the
I
band be?
like-
Something
They look
really
like
British,
gingerbread
really
men.
foreign.
I feel like on cooking shows where
I'm just
Uh,
gonna have to say it's fucking it's shawarma.
Yeah, it's obviously
It's Middle Eastern
Callum.
shawarma number 3, chicken and lamb combined shawarma.
With the sautéed cabbage and
Yeah, with the sauteed cabbage.
and like olives.
Are we going
and
garlic sauce and
jalapenos.
chili though? Maybe the
You can
combo of the
you
both.
can have all kinds of sauce on those things, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, what are we going for?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that because we're a bit of a hodgepodge.
This isn't really what the band is. This is just what I want to eat right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
What you're eating after
A
this?
mango Rubicon.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
I know.
And it's 2 for £1 at Morrison's as well, but they'll be shut now.
Anyway.
What
would the band be? We've got to answer the question.
the band? I feel like it'd be one of those. It'd be something like a cheese and apple pie, like things that you wouldn't think would go together that do.
Yeah. I was gonna say bangers and mash, but the mash is in the shape of the moon, and the bangers look like rockets.
Bangers are like sausages, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. See, yeah. My best friend's British, so I catch on a couple things.
Bangers and mash.
We never call them bangers on their own, though. It's only ever in the context of with mashed potato that we call them bangers.
Well, they're called bangers because of the high water content in post-war rationing.
Yeah, so they didn't poke. If you don't poke a hole in it, they literally burst.
Yeah, they'll
bangers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we could be either bongers and mash, bangers and mash, or cheese and apple pie.
And there's space cakes on the side, I guess.
Space cakes, yes. That's a good shout, actually.
Very interesting. Okay. So for these last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, of course.
6. So we're going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink, dude?
I'm sorry. I had to go very unhinged. We've been doing way too many serious interviews recently.
Yeah,
we have.
No, that's fine.
It's good to have fun with.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously it would be shawarma meal number 3 with a mango Rubicon.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Callum, are you back in that?
This is the thing. This is death row. This is serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so you'd have the bangers.
No. I do like bangers and mash, but that's not going to be my last meal. I think it's going to have to be the shawarma meal number 3.
I swear to God.
With a guava Rubicon.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
To be fair, the guava's really good. There's a taco shop right next to the studio as well.
Yeah.
And they have another guava drink in there, and we're always a little bit disappointed that it's not more like the Rubicon one, I think.
All right. So I'm asking the last question, and every single person we've spoken to have said that is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
I'm excited. Oh, red. Oh god, that's cringy. Within the context of the band.
Yeah, we actually try and avoid the color red. And
really
I realize I'm wearing a red t-shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, Callum, what's your favorite shade of red?
I like fully Jiraiya red. But that level.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good red.
It's a good red.
Mm-hmm.
I like a good blue.
Yeah.
You know, a nice bright blue. Like
IVK 79. Yves Klein's blue.
IVK 79. Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect.
So as I said, that is all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Go on, Cal.
We're Into the Red. Follow us on all social media at Into the Red Band. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. We have a Bandcamp. It's called Into the Red. We have many things there. You can buy our merch. We've got cool new metal beanies. Buy our EP, Wavelength. It slaps. And also our new single, Ghosts of the Metro. Mm-hmm. It's like an atom punk kind of thing. It rips.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can see you've been practicing that.
I'd also like to give a shout out to Middle Eastern Shawarma on London Road, particularly for meal number 3 with the guava Rubicon.
This fucking interview went completely off rails.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Josh went there and got 2 meals the other day. We should be buying shares, not dinners.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for now. Those guys has been Into the Red, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.
thanks so much for having us.